is in fact the head of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. For more on yesterday's embarrassing defeat on the Republican side, we're joined by Democratic strategist Margie Omero. Margie, thanks for joining us. So you heard that. I don't know what you had to add to that. It was pretty thorough going. But go back to the Farm Bill, a bill that should have passed. I see the numbers here. They lost 62 Republicans. If they had held 20 of them, they would have got this thing through. So they couldn't even hold off the erosion there.
Right. I mean, they lost some Republicans because Republicans felt it didn't go far enough in these cuts to food for hungry people. Look, I know the Farm Bill is not sexy to a lot of people, but what the difference was between this House bill and what passed in the Senate is really these cuts to families. We're talking about 2 million families who can't afford to eat. Cutting
so nothing's passing. Nothing's passing.
Lunches for 200,000 kids. Okay. So, yeah, nothing's passing. I mean, look, I think it's easy to look at this and throw up our hands and say it's just another example of Congress that has just become completely dysfunctional. It doesn't necessarily mean that the immigration bill is going to have a hard time in the House, because you're talking about at least a plan there that has gotten a lot of Republicans in the Senate on board. You have a bipartisan committee that's been working on it for a long time. So it seems like there are a lot of Republicans getting on board with what the Gang of Eight plus the additional border security negotiations are producing. So I don't know if there's a direct line between the Farm Bill and immigration.
If you were a Republican member of the House, would you vote for? Would you have voted for the Farm Bill?
That's a hypothetical.
No, but you're dumping on them for not voting for it. I wonder what's so wrong with the Farm Bill.
I would have been against $20 billion in cuts for helping people who can't afford dinner for their families.
So let's talk about what it says about the leadership. Again, back to you, the question, looking on the Hill, do you think that the Republican Party is being led by John Boehner, or is it being led by the Tea Party? And if it's led by the Tea Party, why would you ever believe an immigration bill would pass?
Look, John Boehner, look, a majority of Americans, a majority of Republicans even, are dissatisfied with the current Republican leadership. That Pew found that about a month ago. So I think that this dissatisfaction with leadership is not just in Washington, it's going on around the country. Immigration, I think there's this myth that Republicans need to get on board with immigration because of how
I don't think you got to get on board with it. I'm not sure they think they'll get a single Republican vote coming to them this way, but that's my belief.
It's a majority, even a majority of Republicans want to see a path to citizenship. According to NBC poll, a majority of Republicans
Who are the Latino people in this country? Good people, and a lot of them are very American, even if they're not legal yet. They feel American. Let me ask you this question. When this bill gets passed, it's got a 13-year path to citizenship, and that's maybe to be even to begin. Take longer than that in some cases to get to be a U.S. citizen. Who are they going to blame for how tough it is? The Democrats or the Republicans? They're going to blame the Republicans for how tough it is, even if they sign the bill. You guys made this bill too onerous. They'll never blame minority members of Congress or Latino members of Congress. They'll blame the conservatives. So why they vote for this is amazing.
I think that's a fair point, but it's not just about the specifics of the immigration bill. It's what kind of language are they using? It's a cue of do Latinos feel welcome by the Republican Party? It's
well,
not
if you say, if you wait 20 years, I might think about it. That doesn't sound very welcoming. Margie Omero, you're too nice. We'll be right back. I'm serious. I'm serious. You're too nice. We'll be going to be right back after this. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
Thank you.